enjoyed the conversation with CJ Stroud that we ran yesterday. We talked about Nick Chubb in that conversation because Nick Chubb right now has to be the guy, the number one back, because there is still a lot of uncertainty as to the health and the future of the guy ahead of Nick Chubb on the depth chart, and that is Joe Mixon, who's going to miss at least the first 4 games of the season with some kind of NFI foot and or ankle injury. He's done nothing in the offseason program, was never on the field nor even seen during training camp. Nick Caserio, the Texans GM, like a lot of GMs, had a pre-regular season presser today. D'Amico Ryans on the podium as well, and neither offered any insight as to what the real story is. Ryan's actually got a little defensive, not angry defensive, but like, hey, guys, I'm a player. I'm a player's coach. I know I'm never going to put him out there if he's not ready. He's not ready, and we'll think about it and talk about it in 4 weeks. Well, how'd it happen? Guys, we're not going to talk about it. Doesn't matter. He's not here. So we don't know. We just don't know. We know Nick Chubb is the number one back. We know Dameon Pierce, obviously, a couple of years ago as a rookie, Frank, had some success. We know Woody Marks is a rookie from USC, who in my very deep fantasy league I drafted in like round 18 last night. Not that anyone cares. For the record, nobody cares about your fantasy team. I mean, I care to help. Like, we're here. We love fantasy. We're here to support you. But, like, when you're actually at the water cooler, if you're at the office and someone's going, hey, man, like, oh, my God. Like, if someone just dropped a pass, like, in the fourth quarter, like, hey, cool. Yeah, I got it. Yep. It's like your golf
You're
game.
not having it. I like it. Yeah.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
It's dismissing it out of hand.
Man,
yeah, nobody wants to hear about your betting bad beats either. Yeah.
Dude. I was going to shoot my best round ever at the Muni. I just had too much club on my approach on 18. Ugh, totally misread the wind. Totally. I flew the green. It's like, what am I doing? I kid. We all want to know about your fantasy team. I drafted Woody Marks. That's all. Anyway, the Texans kind of need a running back. Yeah, or they need to see Nick Chubb 2021.
I don't know that that's a great bet, honestly. And we're all, look, I always preface this. We're all rooting for Nick Chubb. You know Nick Chubb, obviously, a lot better than I do. But even from afar, what Nick Chubb has gone through, the way he's handled himself, the way he's represented the Browns franchise and the NFL as a whole, everybody's rooting for Nick Chubb. He has a 100% approval rating. He's awesome. I don't know that he's necessarily the guy you want to give 25 carries a game to anymore. Like that just probably isn't him. And you get the sense from the Texans and what they're saying about Joe Mixon, what they're not saying about Joe Mixon. There's just some edge of, we're not very happy about this. We're not very happy that Joe Mixon is it's not an injury he got in practice. This is NFI, non-football injury.
NFI, correct.
And that's a big difference because now the team who is really depending on this guy doesn't have him for who knows how long. I have no idea when when Joe Mixon's going to play. It might be November. It might be December. It might not be at all. I have no idea. Talk about fantasy. Do not draft Joe Mixon because I couldn't tell you if he's going to play this year. I couldn't tell you if he's going to play by Thanksgiving or Halloween or anything. It's such a mystery. And now you've left the Texans really in a bad spot. Because again, Nick Chubb, best days are behind him. I don't know if he's got one more moment for the master or anything, but I don't really want my entire running game being Nick Chubb. Woody Marks more of a pass catching back than anything. He might be good as a rookie. We'll see. Dameon Pierce has had his chances. And yeah, he was pretty good as a rookie, but not since then. And all of a sudden, I've talked about this before with you. You look at the Texans offense and you're like, I love CJ Stroud. By the way, awesome interview with him yesterday. Nico Collins might end up being one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL this year. What else is there? They have a bunch of young guys at receiver.
They got the kids from Iowa State.
Right, who you can't depend on them right away. You have maybe the worst offensive line in football, and you have a running game that is really beat up with, and by the way, Joe Mixon, with his injury, it's not just Joe Mixon's a 23-year-old guy who's going to bounce. He's 29 years old with a ton of NFL miles on him. This is not an easy recovery. So I think it's a bad injury for the Texans, and obviously they're not thrilled with it either.
Yeah, so there's 2 ways to look at it, and rule number 1 is don't speculate. I don't know that I'm going to speculate, but I'll just try to connect some dots here. There are organizations that don't like to say a lot about injuries, and Nick Caserio, coming from New England, is certainly, the head guy, the lead guy at one of those organizations. You don't have to say a lot about injuries. There's no weekly injury report. You put the guy on NFI. That's all you got to know. I don't have to tell you anything. However, when it is NFI, meaning non-football injury, Frank, as you just said, meaning it happened away from the building. It happened away from normal football training under the roof there of the Texans. You could say something like, you know what, he was at home and he took a bad step, or he was training and he rolled his ankle, or all kinds of, like, you could say that. To me, it suggests
NFI could be anything.
A, is you said they're not that happy about it, or B, there might be a fight over it, like contractually. I don't know that that is the case. I don't know, as I like to say. You shouldn't speculate. And then, of course, I speculated. Najee Harris, we know it's a fireworks incident. Not laughing at Najee Harris. That's NFI, right? That's a non-football injury here. The Chargers haven't given a lot of details, but he was actually back on the field today. They've said it was a fireworks thing. They said he's getting there. He's been out there on the field. And, hey, Harbaugh said today there's a possibility for week number 1. All right, there's some details right there. Texans, literally nothing. All right. Do we have time for Anthony Richardson? You want to do this?
Sure.
Should we do Anthony Richardson? Or you want to hold it until later? What do you say, Madison? Talk to me. Let's do it. All right, this is live TV. So Chris Ballard is the Colts GM, and he, like Nick Caserio, had his pre-regular season press conference today. The first time we've heard from the GM since Daniel Jones was named the starter and the former top 5 pick Anthony Richardson was named the number 2 quarterback. First of all, the headline, Ballard said they are not trading Anthony Richardson, period. They're not going to do it. The cynic would say, well, no one has made a good offer yet. Ballard says they're not going to trade him. He went out of his way today, and I thought this was interesting. He did talk about what Anthony Richardson needed to do to improve, and how this is not going to be a lost season. They still need him. They're going to rely on him, and he's going to grow and develop. But he went out of his way today to frame this, Frank, as a, guys, let's talk about Daniel Jones conversation. Daniel Jones won this job. He's been a pro. He's done a lot of really good things. Instead of saying what's wrong with Anthony, let's say what's right with Daniel Jones. I found that interesting. I don't find it surprising. I think it's the thing to do. You see that all over the place. Guys, let's not talk about why someone didn't win a job. Let's celebrate the guy that did. I have said all along, I think Shane Steichen's a great play caller, and at $14 million, this could be a reclamation project and a fantastic deal here for the Colts. I don't know that they're going to win a lot of games, but Daniel Jones has been in a situation where he did lead the Giants to a road playoff win. But Chris Ballard was on the defense today. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and we can all understand why Chris Ballard doesn't want to talk much about Anthony Richardson right now, the guy he made the 4th pick of the draft, who really has not come anywhere close to that billing. But moving on and look, I get why they won't trade him. Everybody wants every team to trade their backup quarterback. We're 1 injury away from 19,000 think pieces on why Kirk Cousins is going to be traded somewhere. You know what, people? Remember this. NFL teams actually value their backup quarterbacks. That's an important position for them. The Rams aren't just trading Jimmy Garoppolo because somebody else got hurt halfway across the country. They actually like Jimmy Garoppolo and want to use him if Matthew Stafford goes down. Right. It's ridiculous. So, like you said, so somebody came with a great offer for Anthony Richardson. Chris Ballard might be like, yeah, let's get out of this. But they're not. They're going to try to get him for pennies on the dollar. And at that point, the Colts just have to see this thing through. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to start all 17 games. I think we haven't seen the last of Anthony Richardson. We'll see what he does with the opportunity. I'm not on this Daniel Jones reclamation project kick. He did look good in preseason. I'll give him that. He has had flashes in the NFL. This is about the time when Sam Darnold came alive and Baker Mayfield, Geno came along way later after that. Maybe it could happen. There is talent here. He was a top 10 pick for a reason. He does have guys around him. Jonathan Taylor, Josh Downs is awesome. Tyler Warren looks like he's going to have a monster rookie year. I'm just not buying it. I think that this is a tough spot for the Colts to be in. He won the job because he's more consistent. The Colts need to win. Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen need to win games this year, period. Like they are not keeping their jobs if they're not at least in playoff contention. Let's put it that way. Daniel Jones gives them the best chance to win right now for sure. I don't know if it gives them a great chance to win, if that makes sense.
They open at home with the Dolphins. That is a winnable game, and I could just see the scenario here.
You have to win that game.
We're sitting here on Monday morning saying, look, the Colts made the right choice. That said, the way Anthony Richardson is viewed around the league is really interesting. Talking to one personnel exec couple of days ago. I said, would you think anybody makes a call on Anthony Richardson? And the response was kind of like, why? Like, what has he done that anybody thinks you can fix him? Like, this isn't a developmental league. What are you going to do? Put him on the scout team? I'm like, oh, maybe like, use him like a goal line package, a red zone. Like, the guy's got ability. And I'm like, yeah, no. Just one person.
Yeah, it's a long road.
Opinion.
It's a long road for Anthony Richardson to make it to a viable.
And I wish him well. Like, I really do like the guy.
I do too, because he's awesome. He's awesome to watch. He's such a physical beast. Yeah.